Hey, welcome back to 106 slash the Dark Knight channel. And I think it's around 10 something on a Sunday night. And you know, I hope everybody is doing well. But I talked to one of my big homies today, apparently. But I know my phone has been tapped. But anyway, I wanted to just collaborate on it. So, the real G's could see, you know. And I was scuffling through my paperwork, but, trying to find a few other things, but I'm not going to waste time to dig it up. You see, I have to get back organized. I've been disco skating and hipping and hopping and sipping and sliding, working, bruh. But anyway, remember, I want everybody to go back to August 30th. And just remember that my hand was broke that day. And the car was staged at Eastgate Towing. Remember that. And somebody informed my bondsman, the girl's brother, and a witness in my case that I was going to be at my attorney's at 3 p.m. But, we all know. Toupee seen the car facing the east, and they knew I was at home. So apparently I ran her off the road, but I didn't. And we still have Mr. Marlo Anderson's car back here for evidence. And Preston came and seen the car. Preston Evans, the deputy sheriff that showed up on August the 30th, the same one that said he didn't remember who was there, also drove out here a couple of days after I got out, and I showed him the car and everything, was talking to him, and I was telling him that was foul, and I told him everything, that was a witness in my case, the girl's brother. Oh, they ain't did nothing. Haven't did anything. It's a difference between real brothers and them clown down boys. And, he showed up with the law enforcement at the gym, with, some warrant saying that I was hearing voices, or I threatened Marty Jackley or anything like that. And that wasn't even what I was talking about. I was talking about when I got shot twice behind what they started down there in Arizona. But anyway, just remember that. That's the car. Okay? Remember, this is the night that I got arrested when they was up the street listening. Okay? I got charged with sexual assault on a girl. And here go the grand jury testimony, where the girl said I called her. And the phone records and where I was at that day say something different. And if you was to read this, I'm not going to open it up and read it because I'm well scripted in it already. But, when it's time for the lawsuit to get filed, it will get filed. And I want 500 million South Dakota. See, it's not going to be a judgment on my character because I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't run the girl off the road. I didn't have any protection violations on August the 30th, none of that. Because the contact that we had was incidental. And when I got out, I went out with my lady friend, Ashanti, and we seen her in the club, and we left right away. And I came home and informed the police what happened. But still to this day, the Clown Down Boys haven't did anything about the lying that took place on June 16th at the grand jury testimony. And as you see, I get a little closer. I had no cross-exam, no representation in the grand jury proceedings, and this is what they're doing in many states, indicting people without, actually having a grand jury. In some states, they do it by computer, like Phoenix, Arizona. Maricopa County and the state of Arizona is just railroading brothers, Native Americans, blacks, people of color, Latinos, whatever. They're not It's very few cats beating their cases. And I was fortunate to beat mine because you guys know what I did. I got the audio. Okay. I turned myself in on June 20th, 2011. The very next day, I had arraignment. And the reason why I had to turn myself in, because they said I had protection order violation because I called her. Because the law states, if I get indicted and I'm out on bond, I remain on bond, you see. But to get me incarcerated, to incarcerate me, they had to come up with this story and say that I called it. And Mr. Peter Parker Lieberman, you know, who was the judge at that time, he's now retired, living somewhere fat, you know, taxpayers' money that he just stole over the years, railroading brothers. So you can see his name a little clearer in the camera. Okay. I had all this information in court, and he didn't want to look at the phone records and anything. My son phone records, Mr. Marlon Anderson phone records, the phone that I apparently used. And at that time, he was at work at Gray Bar. She said that I called around 9 o'clock that morning, and I was at Wilson Trailers in Lenox, South Dakota. You see. And Crystal Johnson still went along with the story when she knew she was lying. Remember, she's a judge now. Now, here we go. This exam took place at Sanford Hospital. Here we go. And like I said, I don't have anything against Mr. Kravinoff or anyone, but what took place here is very foul and very wrong. And then the forensic scientist gets it, and they rule that, you know, it wasn't a sexual assault. You know, and if you know how to read this thing, you know, you could see that it says within Nora, you know, it talks about everything, her, you know, area and all this and that. If you don't know nothing about that, then you won't know. You know what I mean? You know, all you do is look it up and it'll tell you exactly what is what, okay, on a woman's private part. So, and you can see that it was no violent marks. You know. And my attorney, who I fired after the events at her office behind the car, she had pictures of Brianna, and you know, at first Officer Forster tried to say that I hit the girl. Well, at that particular time I was pretty big, kind of like what I done gained a lot of weight now. And if I would have hit her, I hit with a lot of force, and it would have really damaged her really bad. But I didn't hit the girl. Now, let's see here. So, you know, after they violated my bond, I turned myself in. Crystal Johnson and Amber Egghart, who was my public defender at the time before I hired Mrs. Robin Ike, you know, said she was going to file some subpoenas. And if you guys don't know what a subpoena is where you file something to get some evidence from a phone company, or, you know, a soda company, or, you know, or films, you know what I mean, videos or something like that. So they got to file, you know, when they file it, it becomes evidence, and they put a docket number on it. See, and if you clown down boys don't know nothing about that, then, you know, so that's what a subpoena is. Now, like I said, if we would have went to court, these already have a number on it. these transcripts. You see that? Look at that. Every piece of evidence, everything that I wrote about, everything would have came into play. They would have put a doc number on it. And then they would have had somebody go and put it on everything that I wrote and everything and put it on paper so everybody could have a piece of it. It's because it becomes evidence in the court. So, this is so, you know, I turned myself in and I sat in jail on a lie from June 20th all the way to August 8th. And my attorney, who I had mad respect for her, and I was following her lead at that particular time. You can see her name. Came and got me out of jail. But that was probably one of the worst things that ever happened to her career and me as a person. Because racism came into play. That people felt in the hell enforcement and down there in the jungle boogie that she was protecting an African American man. She was representing a man, a negro, which is not accepted in this part of the country. For some reason, I don't know. Not for a private attorney. But it's what Toupee McJensen and all Toupee friends in the Aryan Nation didn't know, that I never did that to anyone. It's very foul what some people have started with my life and with my family and my kids. That's foul, bro. Very foul. So, you know, I'm not trying to break the ice. I heard the audio, Yo Heather in Cordova, it was very illegal for her to do that. So, I get bonded out, and 22 days later, this occurs when Mr. Steve Rickenbach, Lee Darling Williams Jr., who was a witness in my case, and you can clearly see his name right there. I'm going to clear it up for you. Right there at the bottom. There's a witness in my case. She showed up to my attorney's office. And they try to say I ran the girl off the road. Steve Rickenbach, when he tried to grab my hand, who was my bondsman for Speedy Bonds, which I think is affiliated with Sanctuary Bond Company. Try to say I ran the girl off the road, and you can clearly see this car is purposely damaged. And, you know, we ain't going to go into what Trooper Orff said. You know, he said it was raining, which is a lie. You know, it wasn't raining. It was a light mist. It was kind of like some dust. You throw some dust up in there and it falls. And, you know, I have some things highlighted. This is the bond hearing transcript from when I bonded out. The day she asked Marlo, did my family have that kind of money? When my attorney, Robin Ike, and Crystal Johnson was asked who tried to violate my bond. And this is the thing, this is the question that should have got said and answered that day. Why is a bondsman putting his hands on me illegally? Judge Zell, I respect Judge Zell, but he should have issued some warrants that day. And he should have dropped my case that day, dismissed me, and then for me to get with the people and Federal Bureau of Investigation and find out what actually went on. But now, since something has happened with the Yo Heather in Cordova, one witness account, one college tuition, and a person that she hired, I want Robin Ike to go to jail, bro. That's what it is. There's no reasoning with me. That's the only thing that can be accepted. Because she shook the dice and played with my life on August the 30th. And then somebody shook the dice and played with my life again, and I get banged twice. Which I never had. And all my friends will tell you, I never really had any beef with anyone. Ever. I'm not a beefer. I'll walk away from things. So, she knew that my hand was broke. And the orthopedic surgeon wrote, and he said into the audio recording up at the hospital that my hand was squeezed, and I told him who squeezed my hand. It was squeezed by Adam Turner. Now, This is the letter to the prosecutor that she wrote. And this is one of the original copies. And you'll see if you take your time and read it, and I'm gonna, take your time. You can pause it, read it, and you can see how she covered up what actually took place at her particular office at that time. And here go the address where it actually happened at, not at her new office, at her old place, where she only had one employee, one here and one in Parker. Now she got several employees. Maybe she got some money from the witness account. Now, and once again, these are my invoices from that day that she said I called her. A letter from my boss, Mr. Tom Watson. I thank you for that. He wrote a letter, to whom it concern. And you can see the invoice at 8:30 where I was at, 8:03, And then the next one, I was delivering ice for Arctic Ice. $8:48. I was at Sunshine Foods in Lenox, South Dakota. 9:04. Booyah. Wilson Trailers. And I had my own cell phone. And Mr. Marlo Anderson was at work that day. And she said that I used Mr. Marlo Anderson's phone. You see, this is what it is. Trooper Orff, when he talked to me, he said that it was raining that day. So I checked the weather report back then, but recently I got this. And if anybody knows this, and it take a meteorologist or somebody with some technology to read this, because I sit over and went over with the meteorologist when I got the paper, and he told me how to read it. He said it was a light mist. It wasn't enough for a woman or anybody driving to hydroplane and go out of control. So that means the car was driven, was damaged, and drove onto the highway, or when she got arrested that morning, maybe for speeding and went to jail, because she had been warned many a times not to be driving, and she probably had some warrants. The car was towed and then damaged, and then they try to put it off on her. There's many different scenarios, but I had nothing to do with the car. Unlike the lies that have been told to my children and to some of my family, like my sister Kim Dawson. I actually want her to also get incarcerated for the damage she have done. I don't talk to her like that. I don't talk my business to her like that. And actually, when I came to see her, the last time I came to see her with Karen Bell, I mean, I was trying to help the woman out. I was going to pay for her to get her lights on, but, she wouldn't come out the house because she was embarrassed, because the night before, she was kingpinning. And then the next day, though, she on dump truck mode because her lights got cut off. And when Ricky C had money, and when I was going to give her the money, I had money in my pocket. I was going to give her the money to turn her lights on. But, she's up and down like the Dow Jones. That's the bumblebee. Now, a lot of things have taken place. Of course, I have the audio, one witness account, one college tuition, and is she on her way? That's Robin Ike's voice. I have met with the lady many a times, maybe 6, 7 times, because the day before, a couple of days before that, me and her talked on the phone a couple of times as well. And she would call me up and ask me how was everything okay, was I doing okay, and I just told her I was trying to find a job, and it was very difficult for me to find a job at that particular time. I lost my job behind this. Not just one, but two. Because earlier in 2010, I lost my job because the girl filed a protection order and continued to call me. Continued to call me after she filed the protection order. And when I get to work at John Morrell, they come and arrest me. For no reason at all. The girl was calling me, trying to get me to come over after she filed the protection order. How evil was that? And she was put up by the sheriff department. And the local police, they all work together down there downtown. I hate the fact that when I deliver, I got to deliver in there. I don't even want to go in there, but I do. It's my job. I don't say nothing. I don't have no remorse and none of that. I have nothing to say to any of them because they're not respectable individuals. Officer Mike Forster is not a respectable individual. Officer Treadwell, a liar. He's a liar. If I would have kicked him on November 19th, I probably got beat down. I probably would have got killed. This is 106/The Dark Knight channel. And please understand, this is not a laughing matter. When somebody says something about 330 million, I believe my case is a lot more powerful than that. Now, all the things that went on, when they try to say that I was hearing voices, and Mike Toupee come running up over here with Snack, Crackle, and Bob Shannon, the blondie, trying to show Marlo some videos. Well, won't you run down there and show the police department the audio? But they heard about the money, and Mike said, we're family. He told Marlo that we're family because he thinks he's going to get his hands on something. And if Marlo touched anything, he's going to jail as well because it was illegal for her to do. 106/The Dark Knight channel. He's my friend, but when you double cross me, you're not my friend. 106/The Dark Knight channel. I'm out.